Kelly Ripa of Live reveals Mark Consuelos' secret life as a romance novel model when unearthing a decades-old book on the show. On the front of the romance book, Kelly, 52, featured a vintage cover of Mark, now 52, shirtless and clutching a swooning blonde model. "Remember when I was cleaning out my closet?" Kelly asked Mark on the show. She went on, "I found where you were a model on a romance novel book cover." Kelly displayed the cover of Bronwyn Williams' Halfway, in which Mark was shirtless and clutching a swooning blonde. As the audience applauded and laughed, Mark remarked, "Let me tell you about that photo." He continued, "We were in Puerto Rico and they had a photo shoot and a model there. They gave me a mullet," Mark started, and then Kelly interjected, "It was pre-Photoshop." She said, "They had to take the photo and then paint over it." Mark reminisced, "That poor girl, she had to sit there all day. She was very nice." The audience laughed at Mark's response. He asked Kelly, "Did you read it?" She replied, "I think it's like a sex book." Mark defended, "It's romance." Kelly joked, "I think they get right to it." Mark's model passed. Previously on a May 15th episode of Live, Mark mentioned he had been convinced into doing a couple of covers. Kelly said, "I believe I helped encourage you." She held up another cover and said, "Here's one called The Air." The crowd cheered as Mark was pictured in Victorian costuming with a filter applied to make it look like a painting. Earlier this month, Kelly aired out some more of Mark's secrets as he tried to hush her. Kelly's comment came after Mark presented the topic of conversation starters on a first date. Hijacking the moment with an anecdote, Kelly began to reminisce with her spouse about when they dated, asking him if he remembered all the BS. He told her then. Mark told her that he didn't remember. The show's executive producer Michael Gelman, 61, sat off to the side on the live stage, insisted Kelly refresh his memory. Kelly was reluctant and Mark said her story was for in between commercial breaks. Michael laughed off camera. Not wanting to save it for off-air, Kelly blasted Mark's secret and shared all of the lies Mark used to tell her. She revealed during the early stages of their romance, Mark made it seem he was into animal rights activism even though the sentiment was not genuine. Mark joked his lies worked since they are now married with children. Awkward, since Mark took over for Kelly's former co-host Ryan Seacrest, 48. In April, he and Kelly have had some awkward on-air moments. During one episode, Mark introduced the contestant who'd be participating in their Grow For It Spring Trivia segment, Ripa Cowdermarsh. Grow For It Spring Trivia allows fans to ring in to answer a question in the hopes of winning a prize. Ripa called in by phone to play the game and initially, the soap opera star pronounced the caller's name correctly. However, when he addressed her again in conversation, he misspoke. Poking fun at where Ripa lived, Mark said, "Rebecca, say hi to Santa Claus for me. The mythical Santa lives in North Pole, Alaska, and so did Ripa." Meanwhile, Kelly appeared briefly irritated that her other half called Ripa the wrong name after he just introduced her approximately 30 seconds before. "Ripa, Ripa," she yelled firmly. Mark repeated the name after his wife twice to make it stick in his mind.